What's goody, Frye Gang? Today's gonna be a different video and a bit of a first. I have for a long time wanted to start delving into reaction content. I know it's a pretty controversial thing to do, but I kind of wanted to try my hand at it. So leave your thoughts below in the comments, what your thoughts are on me doing reaction content, because I have been wanting to do it for a while. I found the perfect video to react to right here. This has been showing up in my recommended a lot lately, so I saved it to my watch later and I just remembered about it. So I said, you know what, fuck it, we could use this as like my first ever react video. And why ProChara's perfect kit video is wrong, Splatoon 3. And this would be pretty interesting because a lot of people take what Chara says as gospel and just take what he says and believes it because he's the most well-known competitive player, and since he's a competitive player he must know what he's talking about. But even pros can be wrong sometimes, so let's see how correct or incorrect Chara was with this.
This isn't a Town of Salem video, and I'm critiquing a YouTuber much more popular than me. I can only see good things coming out of this. My fellow non-neurotypical friends, have you ever been listening to someone talk and they bring up one of your hyperfixations and then get something wrong about it? So then you have to sit there to yourself in strained silence, fighting the urge to correct them, knowing damn well you've sunk several hundred to thousands of hours learning about this thing, and
Even as I know she said non-neuro divergent. That might have been like a misslip because I'm not neurodivergent, but even I kind of go through this. I don't have like autism, ADHD or anything that I know of, but like this bothers me too sometimes, where like I'll be watching a video, someone will get something wrong, like, and it's like I'm just wincing and cringing about, how did you get this wrong? That's not how it works. That's not the way it is. And I so badly want to correct them and just nerd out about it. I know exactly how this feels. Also, okay,
knowing you understand what you're talking about but not able to say anything because apparently that's considered rude and you're not supposed to do that. The voice is one. I'm so sorry. I couldn't let it go. I tried. Why ProChara's video was wrong and fundamentally misunderstands the weapon I've been maining for the last 8 years of my life.
Okay, so this isn't someone just like that like analyzed it. Like, she's been playing Ink Brush, if you couldn't tell by the damn thumbnail, but she's been playing Ink Brush for 8 years, so I think she kind of knows what she's talking about when it comes to this weapon.
Talking about Splatoon, Town of Salem.
But hell, let's see, maybe there are some things that I think would work differently for Ink Brush than she does. I'm not an Ink Brush main. I played for a little bit before I found my main in Paintbrush, so Paintbrush isn't that much different since it's still a brush, but let's see where this goes.
People, sit down. You're stuck here with me. I'll give you all the background info you need to know. I'm a competitive
Also, yeah, this channel is Adagia, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but go peep her channel. This video is already turning out pretty well so far, and we're not even a minute in, but I'm liking it so far. I like the little like drawing she has
player when
at
I'm
the
not
beginning.
in my social deduction circles, and my main is the Ink Brush. It's a short-range weapon known for its high speed, handling, and mobility that functions like a distraction to the other team. I was recently watching a video Chara made in which he invited high-level players who were experts in each of their weapons to come up with a perfect sub and special weapon pairing for their respective mains and presented them all together. I was looking forward to seeing which Ink Brush player he invited and what they chose. When I got to that section, I was confused at best. I have two big issues with the information in this video and how it was presented. Number one, the person who made this kit is not an Ink Brush main. I can't be the only one who found this weird, right?
Wait, yeah, if the entire point of the video was to get people who actually main the weapon to come up with a kit for that weapon, because if you main that weapon, there's a high chance that you would know better than anyone else what specials and subs would go well with that particular weapon since you're so familiar with it. So that doesn't make any sense unless you couldn't find anybody who's an Ink Brush main. So I don't really understand that part.
Right? For almost every other weapon, a top player who mains it was the one who came up with the kit idea. A carbon player made the carbon kit, a leader player made the leader kit, but then we get to the entire weapon class of brush, and one person made the kits for all of them.
Splodacan and Inkjet for Paintbrush? as a paintbrush main, okay, Splodacan or Fizzy Bomb, I call it Splodacan because it's funnier. Splodacan for paintbrush, I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't really need it. Paintbrush doesn't really need a poking tool, which is what, okay, Splodacan could be used as like a mobility tool. That's why I like Curling Bomb on paintbrush, vanilla paintbrush, because with how slow paintbrush's first swing is, it could take a while to like get to and from places. So if you're in a fight and you need to hurry up and escape, you can just turn around, throw a Curling Bomb and swim away instead of having to swipe once and then like rush away. That takes way too long. So having Curling Bomb on paintbrush is very helpful if just for mobility alone, because it doesn't really need a poking tool. It has enough range and now speed to where it doesn't really need to poke. It has a pretty decent range, okay, and everything except the first swing is pretty fast. So poking tool is like nice, but it's not really essential, like maybe for something like Sploosh where it would kind of need one. And then Inkjet, I guess Inkjet is a fine special. I don't really have any like gripes with that. I do like the Tentamissiles though that we have on what's it called, Paintbrush Nouveau. The point sensor, like I said, does kind of hurt because no Curling Bomb that was on Vanilla Kid. We kind of need a mobility tool. So maybe Splodacan and Tentamissiles would have been a lot better on Nouveau, and I would have loved that because I love Splodacan and Titty Missiles is my favorite special. So that would have been really nice. So not having that mobility tool or really any bomb is kind of weird, but I got used to it. I like point sensor quite a bit actually.
There are just as many brush class weapons as there are Splatanas, but each Splatana got their own expert, while Brush just had one guy doing the best he could.
Yeah, that's
I feel
weird.
like it gives the impression to
But Chara could have gotten me to do the paintbrush kit. Shit.
viewers that each of the brushes are more or less the same, since it didn't require a specialist for each unique one to give their opinion, which couldn't be further from the truth. Because of the mash requirement, Chara doesn't play Inkbrush. That just makes it all the more important that somebody who does play it be consulted for this video. Because
True.
if you don't have the background knowledge obtained from playing the weapon, you won't be able to explain the smaller details of how it plays and how that fits into a kit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like someone who mains the weapon would know the deeper, intricate, like inner workings of the weapon a lot better than someone who just like plays it on the side.
Red Shell, the person who made this kit, is an Octobrush player. It's not like he's never touched Inkbrush before, he's more knowledgeable about it than the vast majority of people. But he's an Octobrush main. And I'm not throwing any shade at him, he's an insanely talented player, way better than me, and it's clear that he put a lot of consideration of Inkbrush's traits into his submission. But anyone who mains Inkbrush can look at this proposal and tell you it wasn't made by somebody who actually mains the weapon.
See, and when I look at this kit as a non-Inkbrush player, I think this kit is fine. Splat Bomb, I mean, Splat Bomb just a universally overall decent sub. On Inkbrush, it could kind of help with like chip damage since Inkbrush needs to get in close since it doesn't have that much range. I mean, it is fast, but sometimes having that little bit of chip damage can help. And the Big Bubbler, I was just thinking about this when I saw the thumbnail. Like, Big Bubbler could be useful in like Clam Blitz. You could like run into the enemy base around the basket somewhere, pop your Big Bubbler and have your teammates jump in while you defend the bubble. Like Inkbrush, it's pretty fast and you can just sit within the bubbler and defend it. It has enough range to where it can like be inside of the bubble and defend anyone outside of it, since they'd have to get inside of it in order to hurt you. Inkbrush is really fast and has a decent range for the bubble that it could defend it while your teammates jump in, or you could set it up as like a distraction, set it up on one side of the enemy side, and like everyone would be, or not everyone, okay, maybe I'm thinking like too casual, but I think like if you set up the bubble over there, people are going to go over there to try to destroy it to prevent people from jumping in or camping, and then while everyone's over there, you can come around the other side of the map and still score. But hey, I don't know, I'm not an Inkbrush player, so let's see what she has to say.
Because it just isn't correct. I don't like that the information here is presented as if it's coming from somebody who's an expert in the weapon at the same level as Kyo knowing Slasher or Zenith knowing Wiper, when it isn't. Number 2,
That's fair.
the kit proposed fundamentally misunderstands Inkbrush's playstyle and weaknesses.
See, and I was just thinking about that. I understand how Bubbler could kind of misunderstand the play style, since, you know, Inkbrush, it's a very fast but short ranged weapon, so it wants to be like moving around a lot and getting close. Having Bubbler, that kind of promotes a sedentary and more defensive play style than an offensive one, which Inkbrush has. So I can understand that for Bubbler, but I'm curious what she has to say about Splat Bomb and why that wouldn't be the greatest choice.
And kinda misses the point of why you'd pick a brush to begin with. My initial reaction to this kit was confusion at why anyone would want this, but I also recognize I am a mid-level Div 3 player, and the people proposing and publishing this are higher level than me. So to make sure my skill level wasn't negatively influencing my perspective and I wasn't missing something a higher level player would notice, I consulted my Inkbrush Nation, and they all agreed with me that this kit was not the best idea. So if you don't want to take it from a random mid-level, that's totally valid. Take it from my fellow Inkbrush players Nex, reigning OCE national champion, Trizzy, Div X player and second placing at the last European Championship, Spore, +2 top UK player, and all the other Inkbrush mains who left their feedback. Essentially, giving Brush this kit would leave it caught between two playstyles while being completely outclassed at both. Reginald said his intention with giving it Bubbler was to enable it to help its team get in with it better than other specials like Kraken would be able to.
And that's exactly what I was saying. Use it to set up, since you're so fast you can get in, to set it up to help your teammates get in.
Or be able to use it more selfishly to stay alive longer behind enemy lines. And Splat Bomb, because it would allow it to defend itself while in its shield, while also being able to provide longer range pressure while fighting inside the bubble.
True.
I strongly disagree with this. Sitting in one spot like a bubble shield is the exact opposite of what Inkbrush wants to do.
Which is what I had just mentioned. Like, it's a fast and close range weapon, so it always wants to be moving. And sitting in a bubbler is the exact opposite of what Inkbrush wants to do. It doesn't want to play defensive. So this is, I like this video so far. It's very well made. Kudos to her.
It completely disregards the speed and mobility that are the defining characteristics of this weapon. You don't need a Splat Bomb to help yourself in the shield or reach others outside of it, because you shouldn't be staying in the bubble to begin with. You're a brush. You draw attention and run around and take weird angles.
Yeah.
The argument that it will be able to use those weird angles and speed to place bubbles further up for your team.
See, Paintbrush could benefit more from being in the bubble than Inkbrush, since it is a lot slower and longer ranged. So it can kind of get away with sitting in the bubble and kind of just camping there in the enemy spot, like in the enemy side of the map. Not so much Inkbrush, but Paintbrush would do a lot better job at that. Despite it still kind of doesn't want to do that, but it can afford to do that more than Inkbrush can.
Sounds good in theory, but in practice, Inkbrush is notoriously bad at getting itself in. So you and your team would already have to have some level of control.
I thought since it was so fast, I'd have a pretty easy time getting in. No? I don't play Inkbrush, I don't know.
An area already for a brush to be able to place a bubble there. Could it hold that area for its duration? Sure, but you won't be gaining any new ground with it, which is what this combo is trying to do. And at that point, just pick a better bubble weapon. If you want a weapon to be able to quickly get bubble while having an option to defend itself while inside, play Junior.
Yep.
If you want a more aggressive weapon, able to push in a bit more to pop
Decapitator.
special, play Decap. Giving Inkbrush this kit makes it a worse version of both, regardless of which playstyle you choose to lean into, and forces it to play in a way that's really unnatural to the weapon, and is not what Inkbrush mains are looking for.
That's fair.
So what do we...
Okay, see, I kind of admire Inkbrush players, because the mashing that goes into playing that weapon for 8 years, how have you not developed arthritis or carpal tunnel yet? Because in order to like use the weapon optimally and most efficiently, you have to mash as quick as you like. You have to mash, because the faster you mash, the faster like the brush swipes. So to play absolutely optimally, you have to be constantly mashing, and I know that could like have an effect on your hands and shit, because I used to run Metroid Dread, and that game has an ungodly amount of mashing. Like every time you shoot, you want to be mashing. And it is an insane amount of mashing and how much you shoot in that game, especially in the final boss fight. Like sometimes I'd have to like stop and let my hand rest for a second because you're just mashing so fast. Now, to be fair, I haven't like mastered mashing. I'm still like using jitter tapping for mashing, so I'm like tensing my arm up and it really just like hurts after a while. So I could get better at mashing, but that just goes to show for like the average person, having to mash that much is going to cause some trouble in the wrists and fingers.
Actually want. I just talked a lot about why this kit doesn't work, but what's a better alternative? Well, the idea behind giving Inkbrush Bubbler and giving it a survivability tool behind enemy lines is a really good idea. That's part of what made Nbrush work in Splatoon 2. We just need to give it something that keeps it mobile and aids in its aggression. And I'm talking about Kraken.
Yeah,
which
okay.
literally every Inkbrush player I spoke to for this video said they wanted to see. And that makes sense. We've seen this playstyle work before, and it would only be stronger now that it would have an invincibility special rather than an HP-based one. It's a slam dunk of a special, and to everybody involved's credit, both Chara and Red Shell cite this as their number 2 pick. The sub-weapon, on the other hand, is a bit more difficult to choose. There's less of a general consensus. Inkbrush wants something on the cheaper side that can be thrown. Splat Bomb is fine, but not great. But its strengths mostly come from the fact that the sub itself is good, not that it's synergistic with Inkbrush. I'm in the minority of people that kinda likes having it as a longer range tool, but that opinion comes from playing vanilla Inkbrush and having an...
Yeah, when I played Inkbrush, I played vanilla because I liked having Splat Bomb on it better than, what was it, Ink Mine? I don't know, it just felt more natural having a bomb on Inkbrush, given like she said, how hard it is for it to like get in. So having a Splat Bomb would be able to help you get in a lot easier than a goddamn Ink Mine.
Instant Ink Tank refill with...
And I just fucking hate Ultra Stamp.
Well. And in this hypothetical kit with Kraken, I think it would struggle with its ink efficiency more. Trizzy said to give it Angle Shooter. I am ignoring
Angie Shooter.
Spore suggested giving it Suction Bomb and argued that despite it being just as expensive as Splat Bomb, could actually lead to more uptime due to the longer fuse time, allowing you to throw one to camp a jump and then move on instead of having to wait by the jump marker longer like you would with other subs.
That's fair.
I can kind of see it. I've also seen threads wanting to give it Toxic Mist to pair with its speed and allow it to rush down enemies caught inside.
That would help.
Its cheaper ink cost would make that even more appealing.
That's actually not a bad choice. Toxic Mist would definitely help, given how fast it is. You can throw a Toxic Mist in like in front of someone if they're trying to run away, and then you can just like catch up to them and kill them. Because if you're a slow ass weapon, they could just move straight through the Toxic Mist before you could even really get there. So, and then by the time you like shoot or swing your weapon, they're already out or killing you. So
directions you would go here. All that being said, none of this matters anyway, because we're never getting third kits. I just wanted to talk about my favorite weapon.
Applause to her. I wish I could like this video a second time. We finally have another third kit denier. A third kit like logicaler. She's not a third kit truther. She knows we're not getting third kits. This is amazing. I never thought I'd see the day another rational human being knowing we're not getting third kits. This is euphoria.
And now, when I need to talk about Splatoon again, so as to not bother all the town of Salem people, I'm gonna do it on a second channel, which is just named the same thing as my tag in the Splatoon community, which is...
Okay, what did she say? I was not paying attention.
All that being said, none of this matters anyway, because we're never getting third kits.
So true.
I just wanted to talk about my favorite weapon. And now, when I need to talk about Splatoon again, so as to not bother all the town of Salem people, I'm gonna do it on a second channel, which is just named the same thing as my tag in the Splatoon community, which is about to make it really easy for people to find all my socials and tournament streams and all that.
Okay, that was actually a really well-made video. I might actually go to her second channel and like react to some more of her videos if they like catch my eye or something. But yeah, because she doesn't usually make Splatoon content on this main channel. It's on it's Town of Salem. I'm not sure what that is. But this was a very, very well made video. I like this video a lot. So again, if y'all are interested in Town of Salem or her like other Splatoon channel, go check her out. Adagia, I think. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but I like that video. We actually have someone with experience on the weapon actually speaking about the weapon, and she's not just saying, oh, big bubbler doesn't work on it, okay, give it something else. She explains why it won't work on it, an alternative, and why that alternative is better. Same with the sub weapon. So this was a very nice video. Go check her out, and yeah, this was fun. Let me know your thoughts on reaction content and how I handled this video in particular, because I know a lot of reaction content it's controversial because people just sit there, smirk, and do a little giggle every 3 minutes, and then that's it. They never really say anything constructive or transformative. So and as a wise man once said, as a wise bald man once said, if you are not doing reaction content right if you're not at least doubling the time of a video. This video was what, 7 minutes long, 20-minute video. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, that's about it. Go check her out and let me know how you feel about me doing more reaction content. That's about it. See you next mission and play some goddamn